Let me start his story with a wonderful positive thing. When doctors had given up on his dog, Akira, he still persisted, and now she's able to walk a bit when it was suggested that maybe we can put her to sleep and euthanize, kind of, because her lower back was completely gone, right? And he made a contraption where she could still run behind the things that she wishes and wants, and slowly now she is picking up. That's
One.
the best news.
So if he not only heals bruised souls and disadvantaged systems and other, but he also heals the dogs. That's wonderful. So let me introduce our guest for the evening today to Mindfree Friday, the second talk, second dialogue, second conversation in this series. This is the 25th year of GIAN, and therefore we are celebrating it by inviting both grassroots innovators, people who come from the grassroots. But today, the first episode, we had Nada Kattinji, Abdul Ghaffar Nada Kattin, who got Padam Shri this year, and who's a maverick innovator for last 35 years that we have known him, 30 years that we have known him. He has developed many innovations. Today, we have with us Professor K Chakravarthy, popularly called as Chakku, and he teaches many courses at IIT Bombay, courses dealing with innovation by design, understanding design, design studio, introduction to design, creative thinking, process and method, design, technology, and innovation. And I had the privilege of teaching a course with him, and we had great fun. There were more than 250 students, and a lot of interesting ideas emerged from that about unmet needs, about how our students could transform their own home environment when it comes to gender justice and other things. He is very accomplished. He was earlier chair of the Industrial Design Center, and he has been known for solving many unsolved social problems. Some of the activities in which he has been very helpful to GIAN and to Honeybee Network is one area is of salt workers. So recently, we had installed some of the prototypes, and we are trying to improve them further. Toilets for the salt workers, agarias. Then he also has been helpful to some of the grassroots innovators, and we are looking forward to many other opportunities of trying his innovation, such as a window-based solar cooker, which is one of my favorite. And I've seen various incarnations of that stove, which is like a air conditioner in your window. You have a solar stove. So in multi-story buildings where you don't have space to keep the solar stove, you can put it in the window, and you take it out, take out the things, keep the things in. A very futuristic idea. I have not heard of a window-based solar cooker anywhere in the world, to my mind. But it is so valuable and so nice that it will make anybody, particularly from middle-class people who live in small houses, to access solar energy. He's also developed many other innovations about which we'll hear from him. I want to mention that I have known him for now maybe 30 years or 25, 30 years, I think, at least.
Yeah, so 30 years from Delhi, 94 onwards.
From IIT Delhi onwards when he was there. And have always seen him full of energy, full of enthusiasm, full of hope, and full of faith, both in his students as well as in the people with whom he works. Never hesitates in admitting if there is a mishap or a failure. Never hesitate in admitting that something which has been done with a lot of labor can be improved further. And I have seen things going completely transformed from one set of assumptions and designs to another. I'm sure we will hear that. So many times we get hesitant. Many times we try to make incremental changes. And I want to begin with a small story which he will share in more detail. We were organizing Festival of Innovation, as some of you might know, at Rashtrapati Bhavan. So one day, Rashtrapati ji, who had already seen the exhibition, that was, I think, in 2018, he found one particular innovation very interesting. So in the morning walk, he had a doctor of Rashtrapati Bhavan walking with him. And he asked that in our dispensary, the problem that was mentioned by one of the students of Dr. Chakravarthy and himself, that many times when they try to find the vein, You are not able to find it correctly. So you make many punctures, and that pains the patient. So he said, why don't we get it in the dispensary of Rashtrapati Bhavan? And immediately came the call to me, and I talked to Chakravarthy, and I said, Rico, this is a golden opportunity when one of your innovation will be used in the dispensary of Rashtrapati Bhavan. And he was very kind to get it organized very quickly. And I'm proud to say that head of the state, president of our country, when he takes interest in something, and he picked up, he must have seen about a few hundred innovations that day, but this one struck him. And the next day morning walk, he remembers it and then talks to it and get it done. So his ideas have not only gone to Himalaya, which he will tell us, his ideas have gone to Rashtrapati Bhavan. His students' ideas have gone to our exhibition at Festival of Innovation and have gone to very common people like salt workers. So someone who traverses a very wide range of clients, customers, people, he represents one of the best examples that we have in the country of caring about people listening, learning, linking, and leveraging their ideas at the highest level. So, Chaku, floor is yours now.
Thank you so much, sir, for this very kind words. In fact, I feel very proud to say that Professor Gupta has been sort of my guide and mentor for a lot of years, starting from my PhD days. And like we've been going there. So in fact, Anamika was saying that it'll be more like a discussion, but I would like to quickly show you some very small videos just to hone the point of the value of design. So let me, share the, video right away. One of my most favorite videos has been this very, very challenging, project, which is the Palki project. In fact, this was so daunting that I must tell you that when we started this project, I thought, I could do it, because of all my experience and things like that. But then when we actually went ahead in the project and we were trying to sort of see, the challenges, then it took really, really long time. The project funds exhausted. Luckily, always God has been kind. When you're focused on doing something, you will be able to get resources. So we got the resources and we took things forward. So let me quickly share this the Palki film with you to begin with. Yeah, here we go. And here again, a very interesting combination of multiple technologies, multiple university, multiple organizations getting together to build one Palki. It has been, I think if there's music going on, I can always go while the music.
श्री माता वैष्णो देवी श्राइन में पहुंचने के लिए बहुत से साधनों का प्रयोग होता है और उन साधनों में पालकी एक बहुत महत्वपूर्ण साधन है और जिसका उपयोग जो है हमारे जो अशक्त और वृद्ध लोग हैं वो करते हैं, लेकिन इस पालकी को कैरी करने वाले पोर्टर्स की बहुत सी परेशानियां हैं क्योंकि उसका पालकी का वजन काफ़ी होता है और 13 किलोमीटर के इस ट्रैक पे उसको ले करके जाना एक काफ़ी पेनफुल मैं कहूँगा कि काम है जिसको इम्प्रूव करने की जरूरत समझी गई।
In fact, colleagues, I must say, most of our CEOs, Mr. Sahu, or anywhere I went, Ministry of Culture, Ministry of, Ministry of Education, or Ministry of Posts, I've seen that the IS officers are looking forward for solutions, looking forward for our interventions, and I've noticed that we are the ones who are not going there to take things forward. So here you can see the type of support we got both at the Principal Scientific Advisor's office who gave us the project, the Governor's office who was very keen that the porter should get benefit of lightweight Palki, and of course the CEO of the Vaishno Devi Shrine.
Our role in this project was to do a very good user study, understand the needs of the porters very, very closely, and come up with designs which will help them to reduce the...
And colleagues, I must tell you, when we come up with designs, ना ये plastic का कुर्सी लगा देते हैं हम, क्योंकि plastic का कुर्सी comfortable होता है. But we have to understand that in such type of context, nobody will maintain it. In that moving context, the plastic chair will actually become loose, and nobody will replace the chair, and the whole Palki will go waste. All that we realize with multiple trials and experiences, but these are the challenges which we face with any new design in a new context. Then we build the final, after 7th prototype, we built our final prototype. This is a short video. I have.
And Chaku, you must have talked to the Palki Walas, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
IDC put up a design. We came up with ergonomic studies, their biomechanics system, where the load is coming. We found the shoulder and back were two areas where the lower back was two areas where load was very heavy, and we looked at how we can reduce that load by doing proper design.
The final design was lightweight and robust. We could reduce the weight to 34 kilos from around 50 to 54 kilos, and this made a large impact on the comfort of the porters.
These are the initial prototypes being tested. In fact, like Professor Gupta was saying, talking to the, porters.
At the same time, we were very focused on the structural analysis of the Palki, and we conducted the analysis that we managed to maintain very good structural stability and structural integrity in the design so that the Palki can last long and it can be very safe.
In fact,
and about cost, was it less costly or more or same?
It was in fact, this is Ketki Bapat, the director in the Principal Scientific Advisor's office in Delhi, and colleagues, it was such a simple structural solution. Look at this pipe going from here, and towards the earlier pipe would come out like this and get welded here. The structural analysis showed that this pipe should go from the bottom and get, near the wooden pole which rests on the shoulder, and then there was no breakages at all. So in fact, it's very, very interesting how the load flows. In fact, I must confess with all of you that even I thought, what is there? SS is very strong, nothing will happen. And I actually didn't go to a structural, my colleague, Professor Desai from our civil engineering department, but whereas Ketki Bapat insisted that please talk to him. And when we did the analysis, we found defects and we had to, produce it. In fact, it is lightweight, it is cost effective. Whenever you involve collaborative teams, actually speaking, things become better in all senses. I have experienced this every time. We think that अरे 10 लोगों को इन्वॉल्व करने से महंगा होगा, बिल्कुल नहीं. 10 लोगों को इन्वॉल्व होने से ज्यादा कॉम्प्लेक्स होगा, बिल्कुल नहीं. The more people come into the project, in fact, in this project, we have a huge number of people. You'll see how many people involved. And I must tell you, I have all these detailed 1 hour of videos on lectures of all this. If it interests you, I will share the YouTube links with you from the SWAYAM platform.
Sure.
You'll be able to get all the details. Just we'll finish this. So then the very interesting thing happens. I had experts from UDCT, because whenever anybody gets a project, you have an expert committee which comes and evaluates. And I was very wary of the expert committee because of the reason that who will tell them that the porters are happy, right? If I tell them, they will say how. So I brought the porters to IIT Bombay. These are the original porters from Vaishno Devi. They stayed in our guest, hostel along with our students with us for 1 month. We paid them their daily wages, what they would earn in Vaishno Devi.
Correct.
Very important, sir. Every day is valuable for them. So हमने जब वो काम किया, तो ट्रेन में आए सर हमारे साथ में, नहीं तो आने को भी तैयार नहीं, because their families depend upon their earnings.
Correct.
And they were very happy, and they became our champions of implementation also later on, sir.
So now it is widely adopted.
Widely adopted, sir.
These integrative efforts are being concluded.
तो कितने लोगों ने कितनी पालकी यूज हो रही है अभी?
100, sir.
अच्छा.
100. So it's like really a dream come true for me, because I always wondered since I was a child, why the porters who take so much hardship, why don't they get a good product?
So inertia of 100 of years, was dissolved through this frugal innovation, isn't it?
Very true, sir. And then we also trained local welders for repair. Then we also were trying to, get the, special argon welding machines to the local repair person so that he can also build palkis. So that project is still pending. And then we said, then I will, finish this and I'll come to one very interesting context, sir.
The final solution is emerged, is lightweight, ergonomically designed, safety aspects are there. All the designs are structurally validated.
अगर एक बात बताओ, if somebody has to take rest,
हाँ sir,
is there any possibility you have to keep it on the ground, or you can keep standing and there could be some stand which can come down or something like that?
So they do a very interesting situation, sir. They take rest while walking. So they move from one shoulder to another shoulder.
Achha.
Four of them, they distribute the load very effectively, and they also take full rest. at some locations, while the person who's sitting also needs some chai and all, and they have a very interesting way of bringing the palki down with proper grips. So it's not a tedious thing to bring the palki down.
Correct.
And lifting the palki up also is very easy because there are 4 of them, and so it's still very convenient. So.
Wonderful.
So this is one of the projects I wanted to share, and I will also share the link for a very detailed analysis. But
yes, that for those who want to know more, they can go there. Yes.
In fact, it is a collaborative effort between NITI did all.
But did you get some resistance when you took it there?
So resistance, sir. You asked a very good question, because wherever there is traditional systems, there is resistance.
Yes.
The traditional system had a particular, acclimatization. They had a perception. They had a particular way of gripping. And now that grip was safe.
Because they have a very round log, is very thick, whereas your rod is very thin.
In fact, no, sir, we kept the same log, sir. We didn't change the log. Because I knew, in fact, sir, I must tell you, I knew from this very, very interesting experience 40 years back, where DSTS sponsored a project where they made a bullock cart with a steel pipe, and the bullocks died. You remember, sir? That because the wood was the bullock cart pipe they made out of a pipe, because the pipe was so could not take any shock. The bullocks were in serious trouble. So I remembered that, and I said that whatever goes onto the human body should be through this wooden log. So we kept the wooden log as it is.
Okay.
We changed the configuration, the way the loads come, we changed, and we reduced the weight, sir. We did very small things, sir. We in fact that small thing took so many iterations, sir. That's the interesting part of it, because you want to do something good, you want to but then this is the journey in design.
Mr. Gaurav Sharma, he is saying that can we emulate it in Himachal Pradesh, because it has so many deities and people carry them over on their shoulders. So we can maybe connect you both sometime.
Gaurav is the best participant. Not a problem. We will do that.
And then every place. But I just want to mention one thing right away. आप एक चीज दूसरी जगह पे नहीं यूज कर सकते. The terrain is different, the angles are different, the people are different, the cultures are different. So the product has to be redesigned, and I redesigned one for Ajanta, then I redesigned one for Elephanta Caves, and all of them are different from each other.
Okay, that's a very good point.
Yeah, because the context is very different.
Yes.
So let me now quickly take you to my next favorite topic, which is the seat prop for Polystick. Maybe I'll show a small presentation on that, and then take it forward. Because it's a very simple product, but very, very challenging to work on.
So what we are talking about is the stick that constables use when they're on outdoor duty.
Exactly.
To take rest. And they just use a bamboo in the normal circumstances.
Yes, sir.
Which hurts in the buttock. So that is the problem that you're trying to address.
Right, sir.
And sometimes there are duties of 10 hours, 8 hours. They have to be on guard, and it can be very tiring, actually.
Yes, sir. And so this is the full view now. Is it fine, sir?
Yeah, it's okay. You can go ahead, please.
So, no, friends, you could see this policeman standing there with their stick at the back, and the Mumbai Mirror, promptly put this on the papers. And the chief, of the police, was feeling very bad. And I was in Canada at that time, and I said, and he sent this picture to me while I was in Canada, on my visiting professor position. And I started working from there itself, because such problem you can't, negate. And we did this, very, very straightforward. I take this, I come up with my 7 concerns of innovation. I call it the Chakku's 7 concerns. The first concern is a cause. You stand for this cause, that these policemen should get rest, right? And then you go to your next, which is the context. You have to understand, where does this police department come from? What are their challenges? What are the stores department doing? Where is the money coming from? If you look at the police department's budgets, you will and then find out how they buy the stick. Then we found out that the sticks are made to buy, they themselves go and buy the stick from the market nowadays, and also try to save money out of it. So I have to make this sort of seat prop very, very frugal, or supply it in such a way like the Jaipur food supplies, like with the CSR grant, supply them for free to all the people. But I had to make it really, really cost effective. So we did this complete study, we came up with insights of what exactly happens to them. And all of them literally, when they are on the bandobast duty, it's very, very challenging, where they have to stand for 24 to sometimes 48 hours, around, when there are VIP duties. So here we are. So we have to get support while standing. It should offer comfort, and it should be easy to operate, and it should low cost, so that it's easy to and in fact the police commissioner told me, yeah, 65 rupees se zyada nahi hai, 50 65 tak chalega, that type of thing. So we immediately sort of did a lot of sketching, came back with some small ideas of putting that as a prop on top, and then also checked out what type of rest we'll get when we put it in a semi-standing position. And this is the most important part of design, colleagues and students, and other friends. What happens is, most of us don't do mock-ups. In fact, I spent a whole amount of time at NIF last time with my friend, Dinesh Korsan, to motivate people to make mock-ups first. When you make mock-ups and make a real prototype, it's much, much quicker. We can solve a lot of problems there.
Correct.
In this mock-up, for example, we made it of thermocol. And then I got a call from Sadanand Date. Currently, Sadanand Date is in our Bombay only. He's again the commissioner of Navi Mumbai side, but earlier he was commissioner, here. And then we had to urgently make a working rig. See, I talked about a mock-up, thermocol on your scene. Again, a rig is very critical. Most of my grassroots innovators are rigs. They're very, very good working rigs, because they pick up things from all around, and I can say and build a working model. So here you see what we did. We broke this chair ends, joined them together, and added a bicycle sleeve pipe to the bottom, and we created this working rig, because the police commissioner called me. And when you go to police commissioners and policemen, you can't take a thermocol mock-up with you. You have to take a real prototype, and then only it works. And of course, after that, they were extremely happy. They tried out and they said, "Oh, this is fine." And then I went back to my director and said, "Please, give me 45,000 rupees. I need to do prototyping, because without that, I can't supply." Because I knew if I go to police department, take another 6 months for me to get that money. So my director promptly sanctioned that 45,000 rupees for making this tooling. We did the tooling in compression molding, and we supplied that to the police department, and 100 of these things were supplied to the department. And then we immediately got a response. 83 of the policemen gave tremendous amount of very, very high response. I said that this is perfect, and we also got another 17 of them, of course, give us good feedback of how we can improve it further. So this is the thing. These are the tooling which was developed, and this is some of our students who are building up the prototypes. And so finally it has been implemented. I have a small film which I can show you very quickly by sharing the next tab.
Was there someone, Chaku, who said, "No, I want some other design, some exceptional," somebody who was thinking that it is creating a lot of pressure, or
in fact, it was unfortunately they didn't give much suggestions. So we should have gone back and asked them when they said, when they gave us less rating of 60% or 70%. We should have gone back and asked them, why the rating was there. There, hamara chuk ho gaya. We should have gone back and asked them for feedback on that front. Whereas a lot of 80 of them gave 100 on 100, and we became happy, which is a very wrong thing. Now I realize after. That's why we want you to ask such questions, sir. Thank you so much. Yeah. So we lost a good opportunity to check that possibility, right? Yes, sir. So I'll just share this screen with you again, just to show the. So here it is.
But our colleagues who are on the show must understand that designing frugal solutions is actually more challenging than designing costly solutions. You can have redundancy, you can have some margin of error, but in solution of this kind, you really don't have much scope.
जो ज्यादा या 12 घंटे ऐसा ड्यूटी करते हैं उनके लिए काफी अच्छा है.
So we went to CSR, Godrej CSR said they would support it. Now we're just looking forward for the initial funding to put around 2,000 to 3,000 all of Maharashtra. So it's still in that requirement list. So we don't mind taking questions right away for this product also, or
Well, I haven't seen any specific questions so far on the chat, so we can go ahead.
Yeah. So that was.
But we will get the. But Prakash is looking for the multiple designs of the of the palki, isn't it?
I'm wondering why Prakash is not saying yes. Where he is, I'm not very sure whether he's on the because he must be traveling back home to Dombili from the office. So
Okay.
He's not on the list. But I'll share that with the group, sir.
So we can share it with the people.
Yeah.
Yes. Please put your email addresses on those of you who are first time attending our dialogue, Mindfree Friday. Please put your emails, so we'll send you the photographs. Those of you who want it, just put your email.
Now, so we will talk about our.
Now, a very interesting question. When they do lathi charge, will it hurt more?
Wow, very good question, sir. So when they do lathi charge,
very sensitive and very empathetic question, I would say.
And very nice. And sir, when they did lathi charge and push, it became more humane because it was rubber and it was not hurting the people.
Oh my!
That's like that, it became very human. So earlier, when they were pushing people with the lathi, it was actually very hard on the edges. But now, because of rubber on both sides, it was become more human. The stick became more human to the policeman and more human to the people.
That's a good question and a good answer. Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, that was very nice. Yeah. We will go to our. We'll go to the next film, sir, which is our.
Sunil, put your email also. We'll send you the photographs later on.
Now, colleagues, I'll come to this. Most of these, we'll have a lot of questions. After this, I don't want to keep on showing because all these are available on Swayam. Let me now show you my most favorite topic, which is these, window-mounted solar oven. And window mounting itself tells you that it is meant for people's comfort because they don't want to go out there and cook. You cook inside your houses. So,
or they may not have access to balcony, or they may not have 90% people can't afford a house with a balcony.
Very true.
Who live in multi-story buildings.
Yeah. So, let me share the thing with you right away. The next film on quick time, and here we are. So, please watch this short 2-minute film, and then we will talk about it.
The Design Innovation Center at IIT Bombay supports the best design minds in the country to conceptualize, prototype, test, and ultimately produce innovative products which will enrich our lives. Our student, Avinash, found out that the conventional box-type solar cooker is very inconvenient to use. He came up with this new design of window-mounted oven where one can operate the oven from indoors. We receive ample sunlight in our country, and the solar oven takes us a step closer towards a sustainable lifestyle. This versatile solar cooker with zero maintenance can easily recover its cost in a span of 3 to 4 years. The multiple advantages of our solar oven are that it cooks for free, it cooks nutritious food, and the food is tastier.
And it is slow food.
I always have to perform
more nutritious. More nutritious.
Need to be dedicated to the idea of fitness. That also means I need to watch what I feed my body.
एलपीजी की सब्सिडी काफी कम लोगों को दिया जाती है, इसी वजह से खाना बनाना काफी महंगा हो रहा है। आजकल मैं सारा खाना सोलर ओवन पे ही बना लेती हूँ, तड़का बिड़का गैस पर लगा लेती हूँ।
सही है, सही बात।
Solar cooker uses renewable energy of the sun and therefore conserves fossil fuels. We have cooked rice, we have cooked millets, various kinds of curries, vegetables, khichdi, and things like that.
Because of a lower temperature, the nutrients in a food are more stable compared to other methods of cooking.
The cooking is done in the juices of the food itself, and all this contributes to better retention of fragrance and a tastier product at the end.
Fabulous.
The solar oven has gone through many stages of evolution, from a design
I saw on the roof
to pilot production.
So many different versions.
We did multiple tests to improve the efficiency of the solar oven. Thanks to the collaborative efforts of our Design Innovation Center team and the professors at IIT Bombay, we are at the verge of delivering this amazing product from our drawing boards to your homes.
So another frugal. How much is the cost, Chakku, for this?
4,500, sir.
Huh?
4,500.
And of course the life. Sorry.
4,500. 4,500.
Yeah.
4,500. That's right. So now it's available in the market. Is it?
Sir, it is in its right now. It's in the incubation stage and pilot production at Sign, IIT Bombay. So like the tooling is going on. Because so very interesting. The first prototype costed us 2 lakhs. The pilot production, each of the pilot production costed 25,000 each, and then the mass production will cost 4,500. So a number of times we don't do that. So most of the people sell their products at 25,000, and then they lose the market because they're not taken into mass production. So it's a very interesting journey. And I must also mention here that we had multiple professors. There are multiple technologies there. It is made up of we have plastic rheology with polycarbonate.
So there are no gases released from the hot plastic.
No, so it's baby feeding bottle. No, sir, polycarbonate. You use it for baby feeding. So it's a very what do you call, very food friendly material, polycarbonate, and it has got very, very high temperature resistance.
And the rains will not damage it.
No, not at all, not at all. And we have UV stable additives which go into it. So that's what is the plastic rheology from the chemical engineers. We have the coatings from our metallurgy and material science professors. We have the energy science professors, Professor Modi and other my colleagues helping us with the energy mapping. And we had the product design process building. So we had four professor teams working on the product.
Can it be withdrawn in? Is it a slidable?
Yes, so you can
channel on which it can go out and come in.
The tray goes in and out, but if you take out the whole body, the body also comes in, sir.
No, but the idea was that if you have the frame can be fixed.
Yes, the tray comes
out. And what can be done that if the cooker comes out, let's say we withdraw it inside, it remains closed, but so exposure will go down. I mean, it will not wear a tear, and when you are not using it, it doesn't have to be something of that
That's
kind.
a very good idea. So that's also possible, sir, for sure. There are only 4 wing nuts which can be opened. And
that's right. Nuts or latches or whatever it is, but or hooks by which you just pull it up and then it comes out.
It's that simple.
So even nuts are not necessary. Wonderful, wonderful. And friends, I have seen these models on the roof of a new office that Chaku had just acquired at that time. I think it was 2 years ago. Yeah. And the kind of data that they collected about food, about plastic, about cooking time, about the taste and so on was enormous. So it took how many years? I think it took about 5-6 years, 4 or 5 years.
At least 4 years, sir.
4 years, yes, I remember, because I've seen different versions of it, and we are waiting to install it in our own office someday.
And we had actually we had exhibited in our Rashtrapati Bhavan, sir.
Rashtrapati Bhavan. Yes. Any question if you have? The point that they're asking, of course, rainy day, nothing can be done, Matthew, because they have no answer to that question. That is an environmental issue. But monkeys and all, yes, they might jump on it sometime.
Also, very interesting, sir. When we put up this in the exhibition in Ahmedabad, in the food festival, your food festival.
Yes, I remember.
And all the people from Ahmedabad came and said, "ये तो बहुत अच्छा है, monkey हमारा mirror तोड़ेगा नहीं, हमको ये अभी के भी चाहिए." Because monkey दूसरे डब्बे का mirror तोड़ देता है, और हमारे में mirror नहीं है. तो monkey ऊपर बैठेगा तो कुछ नहीं होने वाला. It's very, very strong. And and then there is no monkey menace in our product.
So flats can easily use it very well.
Flats you can put on the terrace. It's a multi-use, sir. You can put on the terrace on a stand, or you can put in a balcony on a stand. So all those are possible, sir. So very good.
Yeah, we have now only about 20 minutes. So we are going to see some more examples, few more.
We can take questions, sir. We will have some good discussions. It will be nice, sir. Because all the other YouTube, I will send them give the link, sir.
I want you to talk my favorite one about the auto rickshaw thing, because that's so interesting.
Yes.
Even in the presentation for which you had invited me once, I want to give you the problem to the people and then you can answer. See, many times, many of you who have boarded the auto rickshaw, you have to push, and particularly women face a lot of difficulty. You have a heavy suitcase, you have to push it with a knee inside, then you can board it. Otherwise the suitcase is just in front of you where you keep the feet. And because the friction is high, pushing is not easy, particularly for elderly people or women. And there was a very cute, simple solution that was identified by a student, who was mentored by.
For that, sir?
That would be wonderful, actually. I think it had caught my attention, and it was also won my heart for empathy that a student showed to a problem. He must have been standing at the place for a long time to observe all the difficulties that people who use auto rickshaw have. So I think this is what we're talking about. Innovation for the grassroots. These are all solutions for the grassroots where people can use it at community level if they wish to. And they're not from, but at least we need both. We need both kinds of solutions. So yes, please show us.
Yeah, so I'll show this video, which is all the students working for elderly. In fact, that whole idea came up for elderly. So
Yes.
here, we had Prasad Gupta as our main guide and mentor in the end, where he came and gave wonderful suggestions. So the coolies, again, you see that my whole challenge. In fact, before this pandemic, I started this whole journey of blended learning and online learning with the sheer reason that everybody can't go to a design school. They want to learn from home. So when you're learning from home, how can I show design value through online lectures and through blended learning, where you see online courses and you go home and do your own models, and you do build own things. So I'll pause at the place where auto rickshaw work is happening.
Yes, yes, because it's such a simple solution.
Yeah, I'll show
when people will see, they will be amazed that a complex problem was solved with such a simple solution, low cost solution, amazingly low cost. And I would wish some of you will take steps to share it with the auto rickshaw drivers in your place. Please do that. It doesn't cost more than maybe 100 rupees.
Very true, sir.
And it makes the life of commuters easy.
Yeah. So here in this video, we're just showing how people will take the lessons online, and then they will go to the class. So we did this in 4 universities across the country. So these are all the
the last one, right. Achha, this is for the step. So there were two parts of that solution. One was a retractable step,
and the other one
second was to putting a channel there on which the bag will just slide down. Because you reduce the contact area between the baggage and the surface. So once the contact area goes down, the friction goes down,
the baggage will slide in.
You remember one question which came up in that class we were teaching, when one girl brought this question that when elderly people get up from the bed, they face difficulty,
Very true, sir.
And the answer was very simple, that you have to make the knees of the elderly people at 90 degrees, which means you have to raise the height of the bed.
And very simple solution. No,
simple solution, but many of us have suffered for years in our families. Our elderly people have suffered because we didn't pay attention to the angle at which knee should be. And if it is an acute angle, then it becomes more difficult to get up. So you have to have 90-degree angle.
Yeah.
That was the case. I remember that example. But at least students are noticing this problem, and that is the point.
That is the best.
They're noticing these unmet needs.
Yeah. In fact, they went and talked to all the elderly in the park. They had to meet people. So, which was the best learning for me, is where I made people go and speak to the people whom they didn't know and talked about their problems, which itself was very nice. So here they are developing a water bottle with a cap, which has a medicine dispenser also. So you can, dispense your medicine from the top and drink water, and the cap of the bottle has that facility. They build a prototype. And this is a very interesting case where the Indian toilets, the elderly can't sit. So how can you make a very simple pipe frame? They're trying out different things. And this girl is trying out a metal wire frame, which will be clean, will not get dirty.
Okay, and it will be raised.
And this is the auto rickshaw step.
Yes, the retractable step, because for them, the auto rickshaw base is very high. So yes, this was a very interesting example. Just you attach the retractable step, you put it inside when you are driving, and when you get down and board it, you take it out. Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
This is the step, sir.
Yes. My hairs were black at that time. They become white now. Very interesting. Very interesting.
Thank you so much. So this is our last presentation for the colleagues here and friends and students here. So please, feel free to ask. I think a lot of you have a lot of questions. And
we have 15 minutes. Bigil Ganeshan was also there. If he has any question, So Nadeem, Tanya, anybody from the audience who has a question, please type it on the chat, and we will read it. And if it is interesting, I'll pass it on to.
Yeah, Anamika can help us with the thing.
Yeah,
and I'll ask Prakash to come online.
Palki cost. Gaurav is asking, what is the cost of that palki? You said.
Yeah.
You mentioned
Gaurav, the original palki, when they make it themselves, the cost is around 18,000. And when we built it in, we built it in Jindal factory with jigs and fixtures. You'll see my book, where we put everything inside, and we got a cost price around 14,000. So we made it cost effective. Mass production always makes it cheaper. For example, your mobile phones, if it's not mass produced, they will cost more than 5 to 10 lakhs. Because they're mass produced, they're cheaper, right? So we made it low cost, and then we gave it to the porters at half the price at 9,000. And there was a huge program. The governor called. There was lotteries because everybody wanted the palki. And then out of the lots, out of 150 people, 100 people, 100 teams, that is 400 people got the palkis. So just 100 are still left, and I'm still pursuing with them. Sir, 100 ko bhi de do na palki.
Maybe Chakku, you should talk about that very interesting experiment. Brigadier has asked a very interesting question. How do you find the unmet needs? So I think that exercise that we did with the girls, with the students, who eats the cold food? And then the answer was mother eats the cold food. So 1 week the assignment was given that they will make hot food for their mother. And they discovered many problems that mother had been dealing with. For example, the height of the rolling plate and many other things for years, for decades, for millennia maybe.
Yeah, that
just tell them a little bit about that. Was a very interesting experiment.
Roti making one, sir. The roti making.
When they did this, the roti making one. When they 1 week they had to cook warm food for their mother, because for all these years, they had taken their mother for granted.
Yeah, in fact, Prof. Gupta was part of my class, and we were actually. It was pandemic time, and we had to teach skills to students. Product designers always have to skills, and what more skill is than to bale a roti, to actually roll a roti. And then how can you improve that process? So we told all the students that your assignment would be to make these rotis and feed your mom the warm roti she was feeding you all along. And then as a tribute to all of you, we will bring Sanjeev Kapoor to talk about roti.
And mothers were invited to that session too.
All the mothers, sisters, everybody came to the program. And sir, I'm putting it on YouTube today, sir. On my YouTube link, they'll all see. So colleagues and students and friends, please subscribe to my YouTube link, K Chakravarthy. So you will be seeing that Sanjeev Kapoor's program by tonight. I'm going to launch, put it on my YouTube, so you'll be able to see it.
So I have put your link on the chat.
I'll do that.
youtube.com Chakku IITB. Yeah. So I have put it for our people here.
Oh, sure.
So friends, we have 15 minutes, and now the question about one example of unmet need identification was to ask people immersive experience. They had to make food for their mother, hot food for their mother, and feed her. In the process, they found the height of the rolling plate is not high enough, so she has to bend. She had the pain here. All these things they had not observed because they never made this. So immersive experience. Maybe you should give some other examples where you have asked students to, when this, for example, the elderly group, what are the methods they use to identify the problems of the elderly? What did they do? With various groups must have done various things,
In fact, so we always, it's always a discovery for the students. We have to go into the context and actually talk to the people involved. In fact, in the elderly, you saw how they went and they found out that there were knee problems, so they increased the heights of the chairs. There were problem of shifting. All those things happened. But in some cases, like for example, this solar oven, अरे इतना discount मिल रहा है तो क्यों लोग solar oven खरीदते नहीं है? So when we went to all the places, they said बहुत inconvenient है, बाहर जाके कौन पकाएगा सिटी में? तो गांव में फिर भी पक जाता था. तो बाहर नहीं जाना है तो we made a new design. See, that window mounted didn't come out of the blue. It came out of that unmet need which the new flat owners or the flat people living in flats are having. There's a wall full of sun, and then so similarly, there was one drumstick farmer's son. He said, "Sir, मेरा वो drumstick बहुत खराब हो जाते हैं, नीचे गिर के उसके ऊपर छिल जाता है, तो मेरा एक drumstick waste हो जाता है." So we created a drumstick plucker for them. So in fact,
you have a picture of that?
Yes, sir. I'll quickly share that drumstick picture. 1 second. So it's very interesting that we have to sort of we always encourage everybody to do from that point of view. So let me quickly open the drumstick.
I remember once we were in IDC and you said that there was some student whom you had sent to live with the craftsman for a couple of days or something, और बोले कि तुमको सिर्फ उसको देखने का है.
बहुत ही involvement था. It was fabulous. I'll share that also, but I don't have the picture. But what is ironical sometimes, Anamika, is that हमें भी बहुत दुख होता है कि यार हम वो आगे नहीं बढ़ा पाए because उनका livelihood dependent था उसके ऊपर. Let me quickly show the drumstick cutter picture to you, and then take you forward on the just the picture on the slide. ये उनके पापा थे, वो काट रहे, देखिए. ये हमारा फर्स्ट प्रोटोटाइप बन गया था. First prototype, he was doing it on his own, and our stick was very interesting. It was this, and here again, let me tell you, we used multiple product ideas. आपने एक देखा होगा फोल्डिंग बैग दुकानों में बिकता है, हल्का वाला. वो फोल्डिंग बैग का हमने चूट बनाया. इतना हल्का बैग था, बोलिए मत. So this chute is coming out of that same material. I went to the same manufacturer and got the bag done. So this is the chute, so that the thing can come down. This pipe you see is used in Hiranandani for cleaning cobwebs on the roof. Very lightweight, very high quality. Somebody has extruded and kept it ready for me. So you
repurposed it.
Repurposed it, exactly, sir. And then the joining is like the way you join your the broomstick. The broomstick को ज्वाइन करते वाला जॉइनिंग है यहाँ पर सर, और ऊपर आपका कटिंग का वो सिंपल स्ट्रक्चर है जो बच्चों ने बनाया है. तो लाइक अब देखिए ये जो जॉइंट है ये हमने लाइक वो क्लीनिंग स्टिक से निकाला, सेम जॉइंट, अगेन रिपर्पसिंग आइडिया. एंड ऑफ कोर्स आई विल शो यू द फाइनल द कटर. ड्रम को काटा, छोटा सा टीन का डब्बा होता है, उसको काट के आपने स्लॉट बनाया और वो ड्रमस्टिक बहुत आसान से इसमें कट जाता है. And of course, we finally made it, in steel for the time being. We made it out of plastic and multiple materials. And now we gave it to a company in Bangalore. It's a startup of IAC, DIC, who are only working towards, plucking of fruits. So उनको हमने पूरा 5 prototype उनको भिजवा दिया सर. Wherever there is synergy, product should go there, no sir?
Very nice, very nice.
So
I'll
now
be
we are
there
taking
on
it to the market.
14 March. I'll look it up. अमरीश के पास है?
अमरीश का एक स्टार्टअप है सर, ऑलरेडी वो बाहर निकल गए सर, बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं. दे डू कॉटन प्लकिंग सर, बहुत बड़े लेवल में.
Your question about which impactful, I think the Palki was certainly in terms of its scale was much more impactful than others which have not yet diffused at that level that Palki has diffused. Is that right? Or the stick may also have been very. How many sticks have been made now?
100 have gone to the Bandobast duty people, sir.
So now they have to get it made.
No, they have made, but then again, we really knew that it won't happen on its own, so we decided to go the CSR route and implement this on our own across. So we met the commissioner, and he actually has given us the approval to now take the CSR funds from Godrej and develop the thing. So Rajiv Pandey is asking, sir, why don't you design railways, design stairs for elderly for the railways? So Rajiv, that's the whole thing. आपने problem देखा तो आप solve कर सकते हैं. You don't need to ask me to solve it. We will have to really. अरे वो कॉज देना पड़ता है. मेरे इतने कॉजेस है वो, एंड आई स्टैंड फॉर ए कॉज है, तो मैं ये प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करूंगा और सॉल्व करके रहूंगा. उसमें मेरे अभी 10 बचे हुए हैं. मैं तो पालकी मेरा हो गया, ड्रमस्टिक हो गया, पर वो यू हैव टू रियली हैव दैट लाइक ड्राइव टू सॉल्व द प्रॉब्लम्स. इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, राजीव. So I will always advise all of us to solve, and we can all solve the wickedest problem by actually going to the right authorities. I'm telling you, all of them are very, very friendly, and they do come and support us.
And I would say that I will tell all the people on the program today that you can share your unmet needs. You can also share your ideas. In some cases where your ideas have a potential, we'll get them reviewed by colleagues like Chakku, so that if something is really very, very meeting an emergent need of our society, then we can definitely get it supported. There is no doubt about it.
Sure, sir.
Under a startup scheme or under some other mechanism, we can find ways of supporting it.
In fact, sir, Tej Patel is asking the most impactful project of mine. Tej, आपका impact के मतलब क्या है? Impact means benefiting large number of people, or impact means giving one person the satisfaction?
Purpose driven. Yeah, all right. So each one of them is purpose driven, but
yeah. Purpose, the most purpose driven. यार वो मेरा पालकी अभी भी मुझे वो most purpose driven था कि मुझे उनका पोर्टर्स का ड्रजरी निकालना था और वो हमने सॉल्व कर लिया. most recent one. And my other project, which is the letterbox design for India Post, which we have installed 100 across the country. वहां पर maintenance free बनाना था, letterbox को सुंदर रखना था, clean रखना था, so that you post your valuable letters inside. So that also was, like a very good design, which is available online. So I will share that with you on my Swayam.
Sameer, if you have a question, because we have only 7 minutes left.
SWA, friends and colleagues, you just type Swayam space, innovation by design. You will see that whole, link. You have to go through your Google and get into this course. There's one course which is credit, one course which is non-credit open. So please go to the open course. You can keep it open fully for you to use whenever you want. Innovation with design, design technology, design.
Are you writing on chat? Yes.
They're writing. So ये आपको टाइप करनी है. एक बार स्वयं इनोवेशन में डिजाइन टाइप करना, एक बार स्वयं डिजाइन टेक्नोलॉजी इनोवेशन टाइप करना. दोनों भी मेरे कोर्सेज अभी चल रहे हैं. And all of them are still available on my YouTube link, which I shared a little bit, with you a little bit.
IITB, is that right?
That's right, sir.
Any other question?
Question. I think
on the chat, please put on the chat. That will be best, because then we can.
Samir says very inspiring. Thank you, Samir. We also look forward for your good work.
Samir has been very helpful to many innovators. He has a knack for supporting innovators. So
nice, Samir. So
and he himself is very, very creative. During COVID also, he had done training program for repair of oxygen concentrators. So what he did was he made a small presentation and I think video. Samir, you can type out. And that was very helpful during COVID, because many times people buy and they are not able to maintain it properly. And it was very critical time during the second wave. So he did that. So we have some very good people on the program today, and we're very happy. All those who are watching it on YouTube and also those who have joined today we look forward to your. Let me mention that there is an HBN Kriya competition, HBN Kriya at GIAN.org, which is the global competition for frugal innovations for grassroots and from grassroots. The first year we got 2,500. Chakku, you'll be happy to hear 2,500 ideas from 87 countries, and out of them we gave award to 8 of them. So I think we are looking forward to your entries this year too. Spread the word around HBN Kriya, CRIIA. Anamika, can you type the thing, and that will be very nice. Chakku, one last question I wanted to ask you.
It will be so.
In the pedagogy for designing frugal solution, you have experimented so many different models: immersive experience, documentation, bringing the users to the campus, going to them with a prototype. Which is an area where you find the response of the potential user is most energetic or most enthusiastic among many? I mean, not everybody will come to campus, but even then you brought many people to campus in different projects, or you went there, or you sent the students there, or you went yourself and studied the problem. But among various approaches, which one got you a very warm response when you talk to the potential users?
So there's no doubt for being in the context, sir. Going to the context. In fact, reaching Vaishnav Devi and making friends with the unions over there. In fact, I have pictures in my book where I'm hands and hands with all the dadas over there who are the union. It's a very big organization. It's a livelihood, no sir. It's an organization livelihood. वहां पर रोड लगी थी सर, वहां पर इलेक्ट्रिक गाड़ी के रोड बन गई थी. मेरे स्टूडेंट बोलते हैं सर आप पालकी क्या बना रहे हो, वहां तो रोड है, इलेक्ट्रिक गाड़ी चल सकती है. मेरे वो अलग बात है. जो लोगों की लाइवलीहुड है, जो उनकी एक्टिविटी है, उसके लिए मेरे को गवर्नर ने बोला मैं बना दूंगा, and I'll make it better for them. Correct. So it's very interesting. So we have to go to the context. फिर मुझे समझ में आता है sociology. I understand economic aspects. Who will give them new livelihoods if this palki is going away? Who will take care of all those things? So it's very, very interesting, sir. And again, I should not forget to mention, sir. A lot of people, said, why didn't you make it in cane and bamboo? This remained in my mind, sir. So मैंने एक साल cane and bamboo took much more longer time to do, but finally I designed, because cane and bamboo, because a lot of movement, the cane was opening up. So we did special treatment, we made special fixtures, and now I have 2 cane sort of palkis, which are lighter by 9 kilos more, sir.
Oh, so instead of 34, it has come down by 9 now.
Yeah. It's
So
become
25, almost 25.
25 kilos, and it's fabulous, sir. And we're trying to get the same longevity as the stainless steel palki. So
By treating it properly, or
but
by
then
reinforcing it.
Very true. But the challenge here is whenever we do these type of projects, we have to look for mass scale implementation. So are there cane people in Jammu? No, they use grass there. So the context is very important, sir. Today, luckily or unluckily, I must say, the unsustainable technologies like use of metal, pipe, that is growing a lot because of the construction industry. People are there who are able to weld stainless steel pipes. But in Jammu, I don't have any people making cane products, for example.
So, Chakku, before we close, I want to ask a simple question. Which was the most gratifying moment and which was the most frustrating moment in your journey? If you remember that quickly.
Yeah. So the most gratifying moment for the palki,
or any project for that matter.
Yeah. In palki was excellent, sir, because the when it became light.
You were going to the poorest people. You were going to the worker, the people who carry the people on their shoulders. So you were working for the poorest people there.
And when we saw their happiness, it was really, really wonderful, sir, because they said that ये हमारा रोजी रोटी है, आपने इसको improve कर दिया और क्या चाहिए, that type of thing from the workers. And and of course the frustration part is that my letterbox design, sir. I thought I won. I made the letterbox, and then it was so good, so modern. And then they finally the rural users and the semi-urban said, ये तो पहचान में भी नहीं आता तो क्या आपने बनाया? और
जब टोपी बनाई, इसको टोपी बनाई लाल रंग की.
उसको लाल कलर That's how we identify a letterbox.
I remember that because that design we had seen for 70 years. Suddenly somebody removes that.
So it's very important to understand
that cap and that color.
And let's say that very true. And so I'm putting that playlist में मैं आपको उनको मैं वो दिखा दूंगा सर कहाँ पर है, so they can watch the letterbox to understand the challenges. Let me put the here it is, sir. On the playlist, I will add the link to the link so that they can see the story. It is here. Even the palki story, everything is there on YouTube also, but you can go to the other activity one. Here it is. I just copy paste.
Friends, many times we don't realize the value of design as a discipline, as a function, as a process, as a logical flow. But one thing which is very clear is, and we have discussed this many times, that design is not a cyclical process, it's a zigzag. There is a lot of to and fro with a lot of ups and downs. So many times designers or some institutions in design will try to argue as if there is a very logical design thinking process, and then you go through those steps and design will emerge. It doesn't happen that way. Yeah. Because I've seen him completely changing the design. That is one example.
So let's give you a sneak preview into the lecture, which I've just put on the link for you. See, that was the square box which we designed, and that is the round one, which is over here. So you can see how the down top.
And the square one didn't succeed, didn't win the commitment of the users. Isn't it?
So that was a challenge.
And then this color, white one, it didn't work.
They thought it was dustbin.
They thought it was a dustbin. Can you imagine the frustration of a designer when he does something very aesthetically beautiful and look at the
Yeah.
Interesting thing happens. The secretary also retired. So we were again in a.
So that the round one then succeeded. So please see this video, and then please give me your comments, and please check the YouTube link for further.
So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Chakku. We're very grateful. Honeybee Network, GIAN, Sarti, and all our collaborators, Palle Sujana and Balaramji. I don't know whether he's there, but Sunaram Vermaji was with us. We're going to have him one of the days on our program. So this is Mindfree Friday. This time we have changed the time from 5:30 to 7 o'clock because I think that's a more comfortable time. Please send us your feedback on how did you find the conversation. If you have more questions for Chakku, please write to him. His email address is very simple. Chakku IITB@gmail, right?
Yes, that's my personal. Chakku IIT is my official, and Chakku IITB.
Chakku IIT, yes, Chakku IIT is his official, and Chakku IITB is his Gmail. So you can write to him on a personal or official mail, and do send your comment, do send your suggestions. Do send your critical comments to us, copy to us and to him, whichever way you feel. Thank you so much, Aku, for being there with us. You made
thank you so much.
Such wonderful feedback on the chat already. People are inspired by the journey that you have shared with us. And I'm sure they will realize that we should not underestimate the creativity that common people show when they design solutions. You know, you have shown that for a professional, there is so much of complexity and so many failures take place. How much difficulty a grassroots innovator would be facing when they design solutions? Because they don't have your training, they don't have your resources, they don't have your workshop. And at that time, this is wonderful that you have brought, and we will have iteration between formal and informal sectors. So we hope to have you once again when there is a grassroots innovator presenting his design, and then you can probably interrogate that design and give your feedback. Thank you so much.
Just to conclude, sir, the grassroots innovators do such fabulous work because they use local materials, sir.
Correct.
And
local material,
local thought processes, locally available situations. So it's so cost effective and so wonderful there. It's produced there and there. And sometimes when we come in, we actually are doing something wrong sometimes. So it's very, and then if it's not a startup, then I can't even implement whatever, we do a change. So, that learning was very interesting for us too, sir.
So thank you so much. Anamika, would you like to give the vote of thanks in the end, and then we close?
So I cannot thank him enough because he's always been there for us, for our innovators, for students, anybody. His doors have been always open for humans, and I have a special regards for him because we both are dog lovers, and of course I cannot forget that.
So you began with the dog story and you're ending with the dog story.
Yes,
it's wonderful.
Thank you, sir, for supporting us, and we look forward to, we have collected the first feedbacks of the toilet design that you had given, and we have made some changes, and we will shortly talk about that. But we are very thankful, and please continue to support us like this.
And this video will be available at YouTube.
GIAN's YouTube channel, yeah, we will do.
Yeah, /GIAN Gujarat channel. You will be able to see this YouTube. So if you want to recommend it to your friends and your colleagues, feel free to point them in the direction of this channel. Thank you so much. Thank you, Chakravarthy. Thank you all the friends who have joined us today, and stay engaged with our Mindfree Fridays. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.